Good morning and welcome to this week's edition of Landscape Smart, brought to you by Rademann Stone and Landscape Company. Joining us live in studio, well, they look alive, it's the one and only Ron Rademann. Good morning, Ron.
Well, good morning, Jerry.
You sound alive.
Yep. So far, so good.
Well, we're off to a good start. And Master Gardener Carol is with us. It's
Good
her
morning.
brief respite before the
I'm
plant
alive
sale.
also.
I'm glad to see that because you look it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyhow, plant sale, we'll talk about that coming up, but we got to find out if Rademann's is open today.
Yeah, Rademann's is open too, so you can go to Rademann's now and then head over to the plant sale in an hour or the other way around. Either way, I guess, works.
One or the other. It'll work.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Get your starter fertilizer for all them plants.
All them
For all your new
plants.
plants, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So anyhow, lines are open, 920-923-1450, 888-900-1450. If you choose the email route, it's kfizstudio@gmail.com. And your questions direct the show, so give a shout.
We'll see where we go from there, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because
And the plant sale is at the Cow Palace at the fairgrounds. Starting at 9 o'clock, there will be a line. So get yourself out of there. That's where you go to get plants.
and you get good ones.
I think so,
Good
yes.
selection, right? You were there.
Uh-huh. And I will be at the far end with the herb table when I get finished here.
Oh,
So,
well, Carol and Herb.
an herb, yes. A whole bunch of herbs.
Okay.
Yes.
But
Plenty to do.
Might be 10 after 9 if you're looking
will
for
be.
Carol, because unless she cuts out early, we'll...
Yeah, I'll be good.
or if she speeds, then she'd be delayed even more.
Yeah,
True.
that's not a good idea.
Never's good.
Anyhow, give a call if you got a question. It's always good to get your questions in early because then these experts can get your questions answered, whether it's email or via the telephone. So what's up?
Well, one bit of advice I would have if you're heading over to the plant sale or walking out of there with plants is I wouldn't plant them yet this week.
No.
I mean, we're going to probably get another frost tomorrow night, and it doesn't look, we might have a couple more frosts here yet this coming week because there's a couple days where it's supposed to get into the, lower mid 30s. And so I think by the time we get to next weekend, though, then we should be in the clear. But
Yeah. 73 on Friday and nice on the weekend weather-wise next weekend.
yeah. But this weekend this week yet, we'll probably get a couple more. I mean, we had frost, I think at least 3 days this past week. And when we're talking here now, I'm talking in Fond du Lac, it's a little bit worse as you head north and west of our area here, a little bit better, I guess, if you get closer to Lake Michigan. That helps things out a little bit. But anyway, it's a little too close to call here yet for a while, so I wouldn't, even if you're closer to Lake Michigan, I don't know if I would be out planting things quite yet outside. That's, no, I mean, you're okay planting perennials and trees and shrubs and all that stuff. Just your annuals and vegetables you want to hold off on yet.
And even what we consider the cool crops, your kohlrabi and your lettuce and all those things that you want a little bit earlier because they like the cool weather. They don't like the hot weather. The ones that you take from the plant sale have been either in the greenhouse or they've been purchased from someplace, so they have not been hardened off yet in most cases. I mean, maybe some of them have been. So you would not take them out and plant them today in your garden. And you would wait a couple more days, and you can have them like out on a porch, bring them in at night if you think there's going to be frost, take them back out again because they do need to be hardened off in that way.
Good.
So maybe by the end of the week, I would think anything could be planted then. Let's hope.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like, if we can get to like next weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, then I guess tune in next Saturday and then we'll
See what's
update
going
that. But for the most part, it looks pretty good after we get into, toward by Friday or Saturday, next Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I heard this week that our average last day of frost in this part of the state is May 9th, which is today. Well, if it's average, there's obviously some after and some before. So,
Yeah, it's right in, it kind of rolls around right at this time of year, depending if you're in Appleton or Beaver Dam or over, towards the lake, but it's always right around the first week of May. It bounces around depending on, now that's just the average, but I guess this is a below average spring, because typically by the time you do get here to May 9th, 10th, 11th, you shouldn't be having to worry about it, but some years are different than others.
this one's different.
It is different. And we'll see what we do, because we are scheduled to be planting our cool crops on Thursday at the garden. But they're in raised beds, which I don't know if that's better or worse. I'll have to think about that. So there's always that too. So we'll see what we do then. But I think by then we'll probably be okay.
We hope.
Yes. And
hope.
talking about the kids' garden, we are looking for kids in grades 3 to 8 to come out and help us with the garden. I'm going to give my phone number. And if you would like to have a kid come to a garden, I'll give you all the information if you give me a call this next week. So I'll give it once now, and I'll give it a little bit later. 920-923-6645. I'm thinking that it's difficult for some of the parents to get kids there when we're doing it during the, later in the afternoon, and then in the summertime it's at noonish, that maybe we've got some grandparents and that would be bringing kids. In any direction, 920-923-6645. I'll do that again at the end of the show.
But don't call now because you're here.
Right. Don't call until afternoon either, because I'll be at the plant sale. But
There you go.
sometime, give me a call. Thank you. It's that,
But if
too.
your phone rings, they didn't listen.
That's right. But they at least got the number.
But they got the number. That's correct.
Leave a message.
Yes.
Yeah. I got a kid.
Got
What
a
do
kid.
I do?
We need some more kids.
Yeah, there you go. How many do you actually accommodate? Or as
Oh,
many
we can
as?
do get up to almost 20.
Oh, really?
But we have 7 that have been in the program before.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd like to add some new people. We need some fresh air.
And
Yes.
it's a wonderful learning
Oh, it
opportunity
is.
for young kids.
Yes.
And if you have, some returning veterans, I guess we'll call them,
Right.
that helps
too.
too.
Yes.
Sure.
That's good.
All righty. Looks like we got a question here. And let me see if I can see. Okay. Oh, and we do have a picture. So let me show you the picture, and then I should read the question first. Then you know what you're looking for. And this is, let's see. It says, I have attached a picture of our tree to show a branch that is low and grows straight out. We'd like to cut it off completely. Would that be harmful to the tree? Alrighty, now let's take a look at the tree with the branch. Oh yeah, that's a branch.
Yeah, that would definitely be easier to work around if the branch was removed, and you could do that yet at this time of year. It's the picture kind of shows it's a flowering crab. It's actually in flower right now, but the branch kind of goes outside the plant bed into the lawn, and obviously, it's hard to mow around in a situation like that. Beautiful looking tree.
Except for that one long arm.
Yeah, but I would take it off, and the sooner actually the better. Don't it would have been better to take it off a couple weeks ago, but the second best time is right now. That way it starts healing over, and a tree of that size, a branch of that size, it wouldn't hurt the tree to remove it. So.
And if you cut a branch off, how close to the trunk do you go? Do you leave an inch or two, or what's the proper method of cutting something off?
Yeah, that's a good question, Jerry, because I see that done incorrectly quite often. What you want to do is cut it to leave only about like an eighth of an inch there. You don't want to cut it so tight that you're damaging the branch or the trunk of the tree, and you don't want to leave a stub there either. So, ideally, probably about an eighth of an inch would be what you want to, cut it that close. So if you turn your pruning shears or your angle your saw properly, in this case, you would use a pruning shears, not a saw, because this branch is quite small. But, don't cut so close with a saw if you're cutting a larger branch that you're making it, you're damaging the area right around that collar. Leave a little bit of that collar to grow and heal over. So,
alrighty. So now they know they can do it, and now they know how to do it.
Yeah, I would do it right away. The sooner the better. That'll start the healing process of growing back, covering up that wound. Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Well, let's take our first break while we wait for our first phone call.
All right. Again, Rademann's is open this morning, Saturday morning until noon. And I talked to them earlier here today and yesterday. They've got garden mix available, so they can deliver that here out for you yet this morning so you can get yourself ready. 920-922-7612.
And just as simple as that, we are back. The lines are open for you. 920-923-1450, 888-900-1450. And as you just heard, it works if you email a question and send a picture, kfizstudio@gmail.com. And we got a caller coming in, so let's hit the phones. Good morning. You are on the air.
Great. Is it all right if I have my radio volume on?
Just not too high, because otherwise we'll feedback.
We were good, I think.
Yep.
All right. I'm on the air?
You're on the air. Yeah, keep it clean.
Right, well,
keep it clean.
Yeah. I just called to ask Ron about, I've got a couple of 7-gallon, maybe porcelain pots, and I'm a bachelor, and I live in a little house, and I'm trying to be this is the year I'm going to be a good neighbor and spruce it up a little around here, and I know nothing about planting stuff. So I've got a couple that had some nice plants in them, but I left them empty last year, and I'm wondering if the soil's still good, or what would be my best move as far as getting, I'm looking for something hardy, something bright, and something low maintenance because I'm a bachelor here.
So, and these are like pots that you've got
they're like porcelain looking kind of big pots, and I got a stone bench that they go on, and I just wanted to accent. I got a small ranch in a nice neighborhood, and I'm just trying to get started early this year, get things going. So.
Sounds like you'd be a perfect candidate to head over to the plant sale here at 9 o'clock.
I am. I think so. Yeah.
Are you talking flowers or vegetables?
Oh, flowers.
Flowers, okay.
Yeah, just something colorful, something pretty large. But I don't know how much they can take. So as far as the size of the plants or the pots I got.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and then whether the soil, would it still be good?
I would maybe.
Or what would you do?
I think I would maybe take out at least some of the soil and get some new, fresh soil in there. If it's been in there for a couple years, it's probably depleted to a point, and where some new fresh soil would be easier for you to work with, and you'd get better results out of it. Mm-hmm. And I really, I mean this with all sincerity, the plant sale would be a good place to go here this morning, because they could actually help you. What I would do is take a couple pictures off, with and then, and either print them or take them, take your phone, to the plant sale and kind of, look around, check out the the displays of annual flowers, I'll defer this a little bit to Carol. She knows more about it than I do.
I think for first to start off that there is people there that come through and sell their potting soil. So you would be able to get a bag or two of those there. I mean, they have larger bags because they're like carrying them around and talking to people. I think that's the same as last year. Then Patty is out there and she pots up things for people as well. In your case, I don't know how big these pots are, if you want to drag one along or not.
Oh, they're pretty big.
They're pretty
heavy.
big, okay. And then there'll be people there that can help you pick out what you'd like to put in those pots. Start out with some smaller things and just
I
go
didn't
from
catch
there. There's
where
a lot
the
to
sale
see.
is. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay.
It's at the fairgrounds at the Cow Palace, if that rings a bell with you. Are you local?
Oh yeah, I'm not that far.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
just
slide
kind of
over there.
follow the crowd there. Once you pull into the parking lot, you'll see where you should be going,
Right.
because
All right.
everybody will be kind of coming in and out. So if you're, but yeah, when you call next Saturday, I'm going to have a little bit different set of advices for you, but I think that's a great opportunity. They're going to be there to help, and you'll be able to, look at the product, look at pictures, get answers, and tell them everything you told us here today too. The beginning gardeners need to do things a little bit different than the experienced gardeners. Instead of being experimental, go a little more with a little more traditional, a little more simpler. Don't try to get too fancy. Do some of the easier, there's some plants that are way easier to grow than others, and stick with that stuff here for this year and next year, and then as you become more better at it or more accustomed to it, then you can try some different things. But I wouldn't try to get too wild here the first year or two. Yeah.
I've always stuck with geraniums because they're so simple.
They are simple.
Yeah.
And they're lovely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay,
Walk
okay.
in the
That-
door. You might be in line if you go too soon. I don't know.
Okay.
But just ask for Patty Percy.
Patty Percy. Very
Patty
good.
Percy. And she will help
Okay.
you because that's what she'll be doing at the plant sale, is helping people fill their pots and know how to do that.
That sounds good.
Perfect.
Well, Ron, and you guys have a good morning. And I've listened to the show last year, and I listened to it and trying to learn something so I can. Now that I'm retired, so you guys have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for your help.
And good luck with your project.
Yeah, thanks, Ron.
All righty.
And,
You're welcome. Thank you.
I know you well. We'll talk later.
All right.
Yeah, bye.
All right, thanks much. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. I have a stone patio, and I am finding that the filler between the stones is starting to come out. What can I put in there? I don't know what it is.
All right. Well, you're a good candidate to go visit Rademann's because they have actually several newer products, let's just say, and what you're going to want to do is remove some of that material between those, between the flagstone, and then they've got some different products there and Joe will be able to help you with this, that you can put back in those cracks to refill it. And the products that we used 30 years ago and 20 years ago, those are obsolete and gone. We don't use any of those anymore. They've come up with some better options, better choices, and this time if you do it, it'll last much longer than the last time when it was done, because they've just kind of reinvented the wheel a little bit, so to speak, on a lot of those different products. And so, yeah, I would head on out to Rademann's, and there too, a picture's worth 1,000 words. And that way, so take a couple pictures. You can either, take them on your smartphone or print them up, whatever's easier for you. And then just that way they can kind of see once what you're kind of dealing with too. And then they can advise you. They've got 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 different products, kind of depending on the situation, and in different colors and things like that. So if they kind of know what color decorative stone or what color your siding is, and or if you have mulch in adjacent beds, they can kind of match this filler with that too. So that kind of makes everything go together well. So.
Okay.
Are you from the Fond du Lac area?
No. Midway between Sheboygan and Fond du Lac.
Oh, well, that's not too far away. Yeah.
No.
So you're kind of over towards Plymouth or in that area?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, thank you so much for your advice. I thought it was just plain sand that was in there, but it's not this sand.
Yeah, it could have been sand, but now there's some different products that kind of bind together, and that way you won't get the weeds, you won't get, it won't wash out,
Okay.
And sometimes it could have been a product that, but now all you've got left is the sand part of it because it breaks down. Well, these new products they bind together, and they'll bind, tight to the stone, and you'll be just real impressed by it. And if it's too much of a project for you to take on yourself, they can advise you on contractors that'll be, that could come over and remove the old product and put this, reinstall the new stuff in there. So they can help you with that too. So.
Okay. So you think I won't be able to do it myself?
Well, I don't ever like to tell people what they're capable of.
Okay.
But
in other words, it's not an easy thing.
Well, depending on how big of an area it is, or
Yes.
a lot of times, or maybe a better way to do it is they can give you, the bag product. You can try it, and then if it seems like it's more of a project than what you can take on, then you can, give them a call, and they can help you find someone to do it for you too.
Okay.
But it's always, if they have contractors that do it,
Yes.
literally every day of the week, they do a patio, and then they'll put, these different products in, and then they move on to the next patio and do the same thing. And they've tried different ones, and
Okay.
so, they just have more experience doing it. That doesn't mean that it's difficult to do. It's,
Yes.
but
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your help.
All righty. Good luck with your project.
Thank you, and have a good day.
Thank
Bye.
you. You do the same. Lines are now open. 920-923-1450, 888-900-1450. Email machine is open. They call that a computer. KFIZstudio@gmail.com.
yeah, some of these projects, everybody's got a different degree of handiness, and some are better at gardening, and people are better at plumbing, and some people are better at electrical work. Everybody's got their own area of expertise.
I'm good at naps.
And so, I don't like to ever say you can or you can't do anything. You have to just, a lot of times the best way to do it but have a plan B in mind, so that if it does turn out to be a frustrating project, then you can make a phone call or two and get it taken care of. So.
And it's brilliant to have her take the pictures along, because you can stand there and explain for so long and you still can't fathom from either side.
Well, and it depends, they have different options available depending on if the gaps are 1/2 inch or 1 inch or 1.5 inches. You have different, some will work better under different, and depending on the different, if it's in between flagstone or what's kind of going on. they're ahead of it. So, all of those things help. Just with a picture, you can kind of decide how thick it's going in, how deep it, Anyway, that's kind of the key to choosing the best product, not just color.
Yeah, lot to consider.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning. You're on the air.
Morning, guys. Tom from Fond du Lac. Love the show. Thanks for airing so much.
Well, thanks for calling.
Question for you. I have a raised bed, a little project I made out of pallets and such, and a couple of tubs that you use for watering horses. And first question is, what kind of soil? I think there's a raised bed soil out there, isn't it? And number two, I'm a birder, and in the past, I didn't have a garden next to my feeders, and in the past, I dangled like CDs or pie plates or whatever, and I'll keep the bird feeders close to my garden, but I don't want them, I don't want that African bird coming in and eating all my tomatoes. So, just looking at, will netting be a possibility, or what kind of protection do you guys recommend?
Well, yeah, and that's kind of one of the joys of gardening too, is trying to keep the deer and the birds and the pests,
chipmunks,
out of your garden. And
how raised is your bed?
It is approximately, I'm looking at it right now, about 18, 20 inches high.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you may have to do some type of netting depending on what product or what you've planted there, and you almost have to just kind of go for it and then see once what problem develops, more so than trying to, and you have to be a little careful. You wait one day and a deer can eat everything you've planted all in a matter of a couple hours. So, one night you wake up and everything's gone, and the same thing, squirrels and different things like that. So, maybe you want to try covering part of it, or even as you go along, so that you don't end up with losing the whole thing even,
Gotcha.
And then his first question, type of soil.
Oh, yeah. Well, out at Rademann's, we have a garden mix. It's a blend of black dirt and compost, and that it's not sterilized though, so you will get some weeds in it for sure. I can just about guarantee it, because it's not a bagged, sterilized product. So there again too, if it's designed more for more like a true vegetable garden, I guess, where you wouldn't want to just buy bagged 500 bags of soil, then this is available in bulk. So you might be better off, once again, now you could head over to the plant sale and pick up some bag. I think if I was just filling pots, I would use a sterilized bag soil, and in there too, depending on where you're at, you could either hit the plant sale or Hensi Floral or Hounsell's or Stewart's, or a place like that. They would have options in bag potting soil too.
Super.
But I think
All
if
right,
I was just filling pots, that would be a better way to go than buying Rademann's garden mix, because you will get some weeds in there, and if you only need a few bags, it's less work that way than dealing with weeds or the potential for weeds. Mm-hmm.
Great, thank you. Yeah, and I will be a plant sale junkie in about a half hour. Thanks.
Well, I'll see you there. All right, thanks for the call. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Take care. Lines are open, 920-923-1450, and we'll take a break.
All right. It's 17 minutes to the opening of the plant sale. So Rademann's is open. They've been open for a couple hours already this morning, and we'll be open until noon today. And the easiest way to get to Rademann's is just work your way over to Highway 41, take it south of Fond du Lac, and about 3 miles out of town, you'll exit off of County B to the east.
And we are back. 920-923-1450, 888-900-1450. Email address, kfizstudio@gmail.com. And the grasses may be growing good. We still have frost, but there are other things that are growing in our lawns that we need to take care of too at this point.
Well, we're coming up on like the ideal time, and parts of your lawn might already be the ideal time to get, to be spraying like our chickweed killer. As you start seeing more and more dandelions, then the chickweed, clover, all these other, I like to call them viney weeds that don't kill easy. You got to use, the chickweed killer that we have out at Rademann's, and it's a higher concentrate, and you mix it up in a 1 gallon sprayer or a 5 gallon if you have a lot of chickweed. And Creeping Charlie, it works for all those viney weeds, let's just say, not just the vegetative ones, the ones that are kind of woody weeds. And we're talking about it during the break. It's a great product, works well. It's, we move more of the chickweed killer than most any other chemical or product that we have. Fruit trees spray is right there behind it too, but anyway, it's a good product and works well, and
it doesn't kill the grass.
It will not kill grass. See, that's the advantage of it, is you can, and then you get rid of the clover and the chickweed, the grass will fill in. So in a lot of cases, you don't have to replant grass or reseed, because the grass now is free to expand into those same areas. So you spray with the chickweed killer, put your step 2 down, and kill off the rest of the dandelions, and then you're fertilizing your lawn at the same time. Right. So
let's grab a call. Good morning. You're on the air.
Hello. Last year I purchased 3 dwarf butterfly bushes and planted them about last week in June. Fertilized them, mulched them, and everything. They look great. They were doing wonderful, and this spring they're not there. They're dead. Are we too far north for those, or something? Or
well, a butterfly bush are marginally hardy around here. Okay. Now, sometimes I wouldn't quite give up on them completely yet.
Right.
Because it's still only the first week of May, and sometimes they freeze back, and then will still regenerate and regrow from the root system. Okay. So you may see some life coming into those, as the soil heats up and as but butterfly bush, especially when you get a year like this past year where we didn't have any snow cover, and we had that week or so of, 20, 30, 40 degree wind chill weather, right around the 1st of February, that takes out a lot of these zone 5 plants that are supposedly hardy around here. They're kind of hardy and they're kind of not. They're hardy most years, and then all of a sudden they get taken out. Now, again, if you're, if you would have had these butterfly bush planted 2 or 3 or 4 years ago, and they would have already kind of been rooted in a little deeper and a little bit better, then we get a hard winter like we had this past year. They probably would have been okay. They would have froze back, but they probably wouldn't have froze out completely. And so you could go back and try them again if these don't work out. And, maybe we get lucky the next couple years.
Well, since they're dwarf, is there any way I can kind of protect them then?
Well, and that was going to be the next thing I was going to talk about. It's might be too late now for these, but then what you want to do is actually, stock up on like bark mulch, and then just build a build it up around them. Put it a foot deep, cover them up,
Okay.
And go make a 3 or 4 foot circle of shredded bark mulch in kind of like a volcano form over, and do that in like November,
Okay.
late October, November. Cover them up, and that'll kind of help you survive through a winter. And then, of course, by this time of year, you have to start gradually pulling that bark off. Don't pull it all off at the same time.
Okay.
For anybody that did this last year, don't just pull it off today, and gradually start removing it though here as we get into May, but that would help. Help that. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All righty, appreciate the call, and we'll take our final break.
So yeah, there's all the hardiness things that we talk about in October and November, but too late for this year. Again, Rademann's, you can still get a delivery today if you need some garden mix. Give them a call out there, 920-922-7612, or shredded bark or gravel or whatever you're looking for.
And we are back, the final few minutes of this week's edition of Landscape Smart. Let's take a call. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Hello there.
Hey, I spotted a tree I'd never seen before and I liked this weekend. It was an eastern redbud. Anybody know anything about those?
They're not hardy.
Yeah, redbud are they're spectacular at this time of year.
They're beautiful.
They've got kind of a vibrant lavender, pink, red flower. Mm-hmm. And of course, they flower before the leaves appear, so they become even more vivid. And eastern redbud around here, they prefer a little more of a protected location. They actually prefer shade to full open sun.
Right.
You will get some dieback on them some years, and they don't have a real pattern to it. The tips die back if we have an early freeze or frost. They grow a little bit too late into the season. Sometimes whole branches will die out. I prefer to plant them more as a multiple trunked tree rather than a single trunk, because if you lose a single trunk, you've got a dead tree. If you've got 3 or 4 or 5 stems and you lose a trunk, then you still have 2 or 3 stems left. So I would always purchase one that had more multiple trunks than a single trunk.
That's good to know.
And like I said, they do prefer shade. It's a true zone 5. They aren't completely hardy around here, but they make it most years, or they don't usually freeze out completely. They'll just die back a little bit.
But parts
All
do.
right.
Yeah, parts do, and don't ever give up on them, because if you just if it half dies, just trim off the dead half and then they grow fast. They grow rather aggressively, so they'll fill back in on that side if that branch dies, or and they're a little funky. They aren't shaped like a maple. They've got an artsy form to them. Mm-hmm. So you have to like that look.
Yes.
If you want a perfect round tree, do not pick a redbud.
No.
I can guarantee you it will not be. They're kind of a wider, open vase shape, and nice fall color.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I only saw them just this week, so I don't know what they do the rest of the year.
Well, and they got a little bit of a sheen to their leaf. It's a pretty plant. A lot of those that if you start looking online, you're going to find all these fancy new varieties with all the colorful foliage, and they look great in the pictures online, but don't plant them here in central Wisconsin. You'll be disappointed.
All righty. And then I want to give a plug for Rademann's garden mix. I went and got a yard of that this week. Oh, that's nice stuff. And I was able to clean out the back of my truck with my air hose rather than my garden hose. That was really nice.
Good job.
Well, good. Well, thank you. I'm glad to thank you for bringing that up and letting everybody know.
Okay, now we'll see if anything actually grows in it, though.
That's up to you.
Well, I don't know. It's got to warm. The soil is still cold. That's all I can say there. Nothing's going to grow here for a little bit, but it'll warm up. That I can guarantee.
All righty. Thanks for the call. Good
Thank you.
luck.
Yep.
Take care. And we got to answer Deb's question that was emailed in. She sent a picture of a house plant in a pot with some beautiful green leaves that are not so beautiful on the tips. They're browning, and she's wondering, let's see, how did she word it? It's been a while. What caused her tips to turn brown? And I guess, what does she do with them?
I don't know if I have an answer to that.
Well, it looks to me like there was a problem there a few weeks ago or a month ago. What I like to see about the plant is that the new growth looks good. So, what I would do is just trim off the old stuff and as long as the new shoots, the new growth is growing and doing well, I wouldn't try to change anything. Whatever did go wrong happened a month or two ago. And so, always whenever you see a potential problem, whether it's an indoor plant or an outdoor plant, or, if the new growth looks good, that's the key right there. Then don't try to fix something that was broken and that has fixed itself, let's just say.
Right.
So cut her away.
Cut her away. Yes.
All righty.
So, yeah, I would just trim off the dead and move on.
Can I just give my phone number real quick
Go
again?
ahead.
So if anybody has a grades 3 to 8, we're looking for some kids for our garden. 920-923-6645. Carol.
All righty. And we thank you for your calls today. We thank Carol and Ron. Don't forget the plant sale starts in 30 seconds at the fairgrounds in the Cow Palace. And
Good job.
Rademann's is open.
Rademann's open today till noon, Monday through Friday till 4:30, just 3 miles south of Fond du Lac. Just exit off Highway 41 onto County Trunk B.
All righty. We will see you again next week for another edition of Landscape Smart.